Okay, guys, welcome back to the Fantasy Chancer, the fantasy football show. We bring you here on the Upper Tier podcast every fantasy football game week round. Now, we're flying into it already. We're going into game week 4. So, there's a few gaps starting to appear in the tables. It's still early days. Yeah, I reckon that over the next 6 to 7 games, the table is going to start shaping up both in the Premier League and both in our own league here. So, just want to take it back to last week for myself then. Okay. So finished on 59 points last week, which I'm very happy with. You can see there that the average points was 48 last week. So still hitting above average. And for myself, my own personal targets would be to have at least 50 points a week. So I'm going still in the right direction. Gavin Bazunu didn't do it for me, unfortunately, again, and I'm going to get onto that later because I have made a change there. Southampton just do not seem to be doing it at the back at the moment, and kind of concerning there for Hassan Hootel about the lack of clean sheets there with Southampton. It's still very early on, but it looks like they're going to be a team that's going to concede a lot of goals this season, and that's why I made a change, which I will get onto in a while. So went with the double Arsenal players again, and it paid off this week. Obviously, with Ben White, he got an extra bonus point, an extra 2 bonus points, in fact, and William Saliba with the 3 and a goal as well. So obviously, the gamble paid off. It paid off big time because Saliba got a wonderful goal as well for Arsenal. Nico Williams, who I had drafted out the week before and of course got maximum points, I put him in this week, and with Patterson in the hope that that was going to be a 0-0 draw with Nottingham Forest and Everton, ended it up being 1-1. So only 3 points for the two of them, but I was kind of well covered in the back with the way Saliba and White performed this week. Into the midfield then, and we can see that Son didn't deliver again. Spurs with an impressive 1-0 win over Wolves at the same time, but haven't really clicked into gear in terms of putting teams to the sword and getting a lot of goals. They got 4 in the first game, but the last couple of games have been kind of a lot more tighter for them, and a 2-2, of course, with Chelsea as well thrown in there. So Son, 3 points, obviously got a clean sheet bonus as well, which is always handy to have. Declan Rice, who I still have in my team. I know Declan Rice is more of a defensive midfielder, but he is the penalty taker, and I know that backfired last week because he missed a penalty. But he's not going to miss every penalty he takes. And West Ham are just in a little bit of poor form at the moment, down at the foot of the table there. So things are going to need to turn around quickly for them. And speaking of turnaround as well, Mo Salah, in a losing effort for Liverpool, still popped up with a goal. Liverpool struggling a little bit with the momentum, but I expect them to bounce back against Bournemouth this week. Obviously, Harry Kane comes up with a goal again. Jesus, who I went with as my captain, came up with an assist, and Erling Haaland got a goal against Newcastle. So all the front players there delivered, and Mo Salah from the midfield as well. So I was very happy with that. So looking onto my bench then, didn't really miss anything on the bench except for Mr. Pereira. Andres Pereira coming up with 8 points and sitting on my bench. So you can't get it right all the time. I took him out. I thought I didn't foresee him getting the 8 points because he's had a quiet start to the season. I put Nathan Collins also on the bench, even though he had an impressive game against Tottenham this week. I just didn't expect Wolves to win or keep a clean sheet. So that's why Nathan Collins was there for me. Right, guys, we're going to have a quick look at the table, the upper tier table now, just to see how you guys are all doing. So we go in and we see that Kevin Mullally still top of the pile with an impressive 214 after 3 games. So that's very, very impressive. And followed by Jamie and Sam. It's all very close at the minute, guys, but like the two boys there, Jamie and Kevin, both on 200 plus is very, very good scoring after 3 games. I check my own then as well. I think I went up a little bit this week. So for myself then, yeah, I went up to 22nd. I think I was around 32nd or something like that last week from 42. So it's not too bad. We still have a full round of 42 players in there. Nobody's through in the towel yet, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, it's going to start taking shape now over the next couple of weeks, and Be interesting to see, even before the World Cup and Christmas, how we're sorted. So look, game week 4, it closes 11 a.m. Saturday morning. And as you can see there, straight off the bat, I have changed my goalkeeper. Bizunu, I think he's a great keeper, but it looks like Southampton are going to be under an awful lot of pressure this year. And even though he will come up with saves here and there, just clean sheets don't look like they're going to happen at the minute. It may be something to revisit. So I've replaced him with Sanchez from Brighton. Brighton obviously started off very well this season. Didn't seem to miss the big players that they have lost. So I'm going to give Sanchez a go. They have a difficult game against the Leeds side that were absolutely on fire last week against Chelsea, it has to be said. So Brighton and Leeds going to be one of the more interesting games of the weekend, I think. Then I'm going to go with the double Arsenal again, taking another gamble. Arsenal are in good form at the start of the season. One of the better teams up there near the start of the table. Of course, there's going to be a lot bigger test for Arsenal to come, but I just think at the moment when they're in that little bit of form, that I think I'll just go with the two guys, and they have a very good record against Fulham. So what they need to do is keep Mitrovic quiet, and that's obviously easier said than done. But if they can do that, then they could end up with some points as well. Nathan Collins, good game against Tottenham last week. He got 8 points the week before. Didn't keep obviously a clean sheet against Spurs last week. They lost narrowly, but I think with Newcastle, even though Newcastle had a seriously good battle with Man City on Sunday, an away game might be a little bit different for them. I think they're going to try and turn St. James's Park into a bit of a fortress this week or this season. And like last season when Arsenal visited there, they thumped Arsenal there near the end of the season as well. They got a great atmosphere there. So I think that they're going to rely a lot on the home form. So away from home, Newcastle have a lot to prove, and that's why I'm going to go with Nathan Collins in there next week against them. The midfield, I'm going to go with 4. So Son, Nottingham Forest away. Obviously, West Ham felt the brunt of Forest a couple of weeks ago. It's going to be very, very important for them to keep up good home form for the season if they want to stay up. So they've made a lot of signings. It's going to be an interesting game. It's not going to be a walk in the park, I don't think, for Tottenham, this one. So, you know, if they can click into gear, Son and Kane, we know they have a great combination. So if that can work, I can hopefully get a few points from them this week. Mo Salah, Bournemouth at home. Now, this is an ideal game, I think, for Liverpool to bounce back in after the last couple of dodgy results, I guess, and they weren't really in form coming into the season through pre-season either, but that doesn't really matter. Obviously went on to win the Community Shield, but now at the start of the season they've been very, very ropey. So I do think that they'll get over the line. And I think it's just about getting that first victory on the board for Liverpool this week, and I think they will do it against Bournemouth. Declan Rice, Aston Villa away, yet again, defensive midfielder. It's very hard to know. He's just in there maybe for a penalty or for an odd bonus point here and there. So he's just in there for the sake of it, really. Lavia, a Man City player with a point to prove, playing against Manchester United. So that's why I have him in there. I think he'll be really fired up for this game. He's at City for a long time. And obviously Manchester United have had a very, very good result at home to Liverpool on Monday night. But the away games, different kettle of fish altogether. And I expect a tough test from Southampton, but I still expect United to win this one. Harry Kane, yet again, relying on the Son-Kane combination paying dividends for me. And it really, really depends on how Forest start this game. I can see, like, if Tottenham were to get an early goal, they may cruise it. The longer it goes on at 0-0, the more it will suit Nottingham Forest. And Gabriel Jesus, I'm going with captain this week. He's delivered points every week so far, whether it be goals or assists. And, like, if we just check here now, Jesus, he is owned by, at the moment, 81.4% of teams own him. That is absolutely bonkers. 81%. So, like, my thinking on that is, if 81% of people have this guy, I need to really put him as captain to try and get up the league. You know, because if he's going to be one of your more important players, you're just going to match everyone else's score, if that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense to you, but it makes sense to me, and I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing anyway. As I say, This is a chancer show. I'm not into detailed statistics and stuff like that. I just pick who I think is going to score goals, basically, is what my team comes down to. And I'm thinking if 81% of fantasy football have this guy, well, then you nearly want to put him as captain to try and get up the league, because that's 4 and 5 that will have him. So if we've got 42 in our league, like 4 and 5 have it, he's got to be put in. Got to be put in as captain, especially in a game like this. Maybe not against the bigger teams, but in a game that Arsenal are expected to win, then I think that he's a perfect choice, really. Haaland again, he still pops up. He's popped up with points every game week round. Crystal Palace at home. It's actually a big game for Man City now because nobody would have really expected them to drop points early on with the start that they've had. So this is going to be a very, very interesting game week, and obviously Palace are a very tricky side. We've seen that when they played Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. They gave Arsenal a real game on the opening night of the season, and I believe Man City didn't beat them last year. So this is going to be a really big game. No pressure on Palace, all the pressure on Man City, and it's very hard to know how that one is going to go, to be honest. Now on the bench, Ward, Pereira, Patterson, Williams, no clean sheets last week. Obviously, Pereira did come up with 8 points, but I think maybe in this game, and I could be wrong, that I expect Arsenal to get over the line. I don't know about clean sheets. Obviously, I'll be hoping as an Arsenal fan that we will keep a clean sheet, especially with the 2 boys I have on my team. But yeah, I'm going to take a gamble. I'm going to leave Pereira on the bench, and then Ward is going to have a busy evening at Stamford Bridge, and Leicester look to be in real trouble so far this season. So I wouldn't be banking on putting him in just yet. So that's pretty much it for game week 4, the preview. I'd just like to say, if you want to go onto this channel, and just down below there, you can hit the subscribe bell notification. You get all sorts of great shows here from Niall and Darren and the boys talking about transfers, and I'm sure there's going to be a big transfer show coming up soon with the deadline day, and general previews, reviews, everything you want in football is there. Lads are doing live shows now, so it's interactive. You can jump in the chat, and you can wind them up, which I never do, or you can just chat to them, and they're always good lads, and they always read out the comments. So check out the other shows. This is only a little quick segment that we're going to do like every game week round on this channel. So guys, thanks a million for your time today, and I am out of here.